welcome to the Convio Summit 2009, and this is Nonprofit Live TV, and I'm Larry Brill. Now we got all that out of the way. The summit is here in Austin, and it's a chance for the leaders of nonprofit organizations from around the country and here in the region, in the Austin area, to get together and talk about issues and tools and tips and best practices and things that they can do to make it more successful, their organizations more successful, to raise more money, to get their message out a little bit better. And joining me now is Vinay, Bhagat, who is the founder of Convio, and Convio, of course, being the organization that's putting on this summit here. Thanks for being with us this morning.
Thank you, Larry.
Let's talk about, first of all, your inspiration for Convio and helping the nonprofits. Where did that come from?
So about 10 years ago, my wife, who's a filmmaker, encouraged me to go along to my local TV station, KLOU, to be part of a pledge drive. And I was one of those people you see kind of in the booth answering
the phone.
The phones, yes, and asking people how much they'd like to give and what kind of premium they'd like with their contribution, and if they remembered whether they were a current member or not, and writing it onto an index card, handing it over to the director of development and said, you know, there really has to be a better way of doing this, and have you heard of this thing called the internet? Because it could really change your lives. At the time, I was director of the e-commerce at a software company where I was working with Fortune 500 companies like Ford Motor Company, helping them figure out how they'd be using the internet to relate to their customers. So a light bulb went off for me, and I thought, wow, I could really help this organization with its use of technology. So intrigued, I went and spent a few hours with the director of membership the next day and learned that they were really struggling in the area of loyalty. They were churning about 50% of their donors each year.
50%?
50%. And if you're a for-profit business losing 50% of your customers every year, you're in trouble. And what they were really doing is having to spend a lot of time acquiring new donors to keep up with the fact that they were losing so many each year. In my kind of preliminary research, I learned that it wasn't just localized to that organization, that other nonprofits had similar challenges in terms of instantiating and developing relationships. So the idea for Convio was born.
So you built this system, and you've helped raise what, $2.5 billion over this time. Does that just astound you that you've been so successful?
Yeah, we're truly excited with the impact that we've been able to have. You know, one of the truly unique things about Convio is we are a for-profit enterprise, and we seek to be a successful business, but we also have a true social element to us in terms of having impact on a very important sector. You know, nonprofits constitute a very large part of our economy. They employ millions of people, and we feel that we've been able to make a contribution in helping them be more efficient in building relationships and using the web.
What's been the biggest surprise in the last 10 years for you in terms of this business model and how much you've been able to help the nonprofits around the country?
Well, we operate as what's called a software as a service company, where we run our software on behalf of our clients. We host the software for them, so they don't have to run it in-house. Back 10 years ago, that was a very novel idea. This was before companies like Salesforce.com were really in vogue. It was a really good idea, though, because it really fits how nonprofits work, that they should not be managing large-scale enterprise software systems in-house. It's just simply not the core competency for most of them. So that was a big epiphany that really rung true. The other thing that I've found over the last 10 years has been we've had to do a lot of evangelism to help organizations understand how to use these new media and new technologies. You can't just give somebody technology and expect them to be successful with it. You have to lead them. So we've had to do a really good job of leading the sector, both in our thought leadership and research, but also with consulting and with our partner ecosystem, trying to provide the services that nonprofits truly need to be successful.
You have to not only show them the product, if you will, for lack of a better term, of using the online, using the internet, but you have to show them how to use it as well. Do they get it?
Absolutely, and you know, they're incredibly receptive to knowledge. They love the research that we publish each year, including our annual benchmark report. They're great clients. That's the one thing that I truly love about the sector. People are passionate, want to learn, want to do better, very receptive to coaching, and we feel like we've been able to drive a pretty profound change in terms of how people are using technology to drive relationships. And it's not just the web. We have our origins and roots in the web as a web marketing company, developing a platform for organizations to use the web as a strategic marketing channel. But about 2 years ago, we realized that organizations were not being well served in the area of offline CRM or donor management. The companies that are in that space today have not really had a great deal of competition, and we felt that we could come in and be a disruptive innovator and bring new technology to the market and bring some competition as well. And so we're excited about our new product line, Common Ground, that's received great reception in the marketplace. We have over 135 organizations using it, including some big national groups like the Susan G. Komen Foundation. And we're very excited about its momentum, but we see that as a new opportunity to both grow our business and help nonprofits manage their mission and manage their offline donor relationships with a more advanced technology. And we're developing that platform through an alliance with Salesforce.com, using their Force.com platform as its basis.
One last question then, where do we go from here? What's the next killer app? Or what's the next direction that we're going to go that's going to make us all go, gee, wow?
Well, the big thing that's happening in our sector right now is that there's a tremendous generational shift that's happening from your traditional donor, 70-year-old plus, responsive to direct mail and telephone, to the new breed of donor. The new breed is everyone from a boomer who is comfortable in both the mail, but in the internet, they use it in the workplace, through people like me who are Gen Xers and younger people, Gen Yers, who've grown up with cell phones and grown up with Facebook and so forth. So figuring out how to communicate to these different audiences in the media of their choice and with the message style of their choice is really what's next.
Yeah.
My keynote today at the summit is going to really be focusing on that issue.
All right, Vinay, Bhagat, thank you very much for being with us today. We appreciate that, the founder of Convio, and this is the Convio Summit 2009. I'm Larry Brill. We'll be here throughout the day on nonprofitlive.tv. You can learn more about what's going on here and a little bit more about these interviews, and we'll be back in a little while.